Hey everyone, it's Peter from Daydream Nation. Well, I've just returned back from a family holiday in Japan, and the last day or two in Tokyo, I went on a bit of a vinyl dig, bought a swag of CDs, bootlegs, original releases, and some vinyl. In Japan, I did shopping in Disc Union, which is a chain of shops. It's a mix of new releases and secondhand, very healthy secondhand. And a lot of the CDs were soundboard bootleg quality releases. So also, I visited a store. Please check out the Daydream Nation show that I did on my visits to various sites in Tokyo, a store called Lighthouse, which is the proverbial Aladdin's cave of bootleg CDs. You name it, they have it, either on DVD, video, or on CD. This one is one I picked up from Lighthouse, and that's Deep Purple, Perfect Net Worth 1985. Now, this had been released on a double CD or a double album in the day, long out of print, and I've always wanted to get this. So this was that night in 1985. I think it was pretty well rained out. So this was the 1984-85 Deep Purple reunion tour, the big concert that was held at Networth. Yeah, I can't wait to give this a bit of a listen. Now let's go for a bit of Whitesnake. So this one's Whitesnake Rafters 1978, Rafters Club Manchester 1978. And this is the early incarnation of Whitesnake. So I think David Coverdale, this would have been just after the solo albums, put together a band and toured some of the clubs. And that would have been Coverdale, Bernie Marsden, Mick Moody on guitars, Neil Murray on bass, David Dowell or David Duckdale on drums, and Brian Johnston on keyboards, who I haven't heard of. So at the time, the Whitesnake released an EP called Snakebite, which was a 4-track EP, had Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City. And I was familiar that Pete Solly was doing the keyboards. Now, if you look at the track listing, there's a lot of Purple material, Lady Luck, Mistreated, Lady Double Dealer, and a lot of sort of material, Belgian Tom's Hat Trick, Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, Steal Away. So it's a bit of a mix of late era Purple, Snakebite, and a bit of a smattering of, Whitesnake Trouble. The next one is Whitesnake Nagoya in 1981, Definitive Master. So this is the Come and Get It tour, which is the classic lineup of Coverdale, Marsden, Mooney, Murray, Ian Pace, and John Lord, and it's the full concert. So it's got all the songs there. This is my favorite era of Whitesnake, and I was really looking for a soundboard recording for this era, and here it is, Whitesnake. So I haven't listened to that. I'm looking forward to that. And to complete the Whitesnake, Definitive Wembley 1984. So this is the, John Sykes era. You've got Mel Galley, Neil Murray, Cozy Powell, and John Lord. So this is the Slide It In. Looking forward to having a listen on that. And the tracks on that album are as follows. So pretty much most of what's off Slide It In, a little bit off Saints and Sinners, and a couple of oldies as well. Okay, I'm going to hop to a little bit of vinyl. This is a bootleg of Rainbow 1979, 1980 era, the Down to Earth with Graham Bonnet. And that's Blackmore in New Black Stocking Sexism Outrage. Unusual, very wordy name for a bootleg. And there you have the song list. So it's basically the lineup of Blackmore, Graham Bonnet, Don Airy, Roger Glover, and the great Cozy Powell. And it's really interesting. If you look at side 3, they've thrown a bit of Cozy Powell's solo material. So it suddenly goes from Lost in Hollywood Part 2, then it goes into Cozy Powell and a couple of tracks. I think basically they had to put music over 4 sides, and to balance it out, they filled it out with a bit of Cozy. Now, I've actually played this. As bootlegs go, it's not bad. I'd give it about a 6 out of 10 for sound quality, but in respect of performance, Richie's on fire, and I'm glad I bought it. But as some bootlegs go, they're hit and miss, and some songs sound better than others, but the Richie Blackmore guitar, he's basically in peak form. So there you have it. New Black Stocking Sexism Outrage. And I think that's a little bit of a as they would say, a bit of a piss take, because a lot of the critics were very bit harsh on Down to Earth and some of the lyrics with All Night Long, accusing Rainbow of sexism. So I think this is a bit of a play on that. So that's that one. 45, Rainbow, Can't Let You Go. So this was off the Bent Out of Shape album. And the thing that I liked about this is it's got 2 live versions of All Night Long and Stranded. So Japanese vinyl is very thick, deep grooves. I'm looking forward to listening to this one, and I've never seen this before. So Rainbow, it's a 12-inch 45, Can't Let You Go. So looking forward to listening to that one. The next one is a bit of a curio. This is called Great Pleasure. And the song, it seems to be a bit of a hybrid with some members of Whitesnake and Motorhead. So you've got Lemmy, Eddie Clark, Filthy Animal Taylor, and also Mick Moody, Cozy Powell, and the Nolan sisters. So it's called Great Pleasure. I haven't listened to this yet. It's a picture disc, but it's just so odd and out there. I'll let you know what it's like, but never seen this before, and you couldn't get 3 more different elements on a music on a song other than this one. So there you go, Great Pleasure, and this is a bit of the Whitesnake, bit of the Deep Purple family with Mick Moody and Cozy Powell. Rock Aid Armenia, Mayhem Mix. So this was a little bit of a charity single that was put together with various stars. Who's on this? It's just a who. Richie Blackmore, Dave Gilmore, Tony Iommi, Alex Lifeson, Brian May, Brian Adams, Bruce Dickinson, Ian Gillan, Paul Rogers, Chris Squire on bass. It's like a who's who. I remember this in the day, and I didn't mind it, but I've never seen this in the wild, and this is the 12-inch single, Rock Aid Armenia, Smoke on the Water, 1990. Looking forward to giving that a bit of a listen. What else have we got? Trapeze, Pete Golby, Hold On. So this was a lot of folks' introduction to the great vocal chops of Pete Golby. The big song of this album was Don't Break My Heart. This got him an audition with Rainbow. More about that. Stay tuned. And led him on the path to Uriah Heep, a Bombernog. So, Trapeze. I got a cheap copy. I think it's classified as very good. Don't know, but I've never seen this album in the wild, so I just grabbed it irrespective of the condition. And I'll let you guys know what it's like. Trapeze, hold on. All right, let's get back into some CDs. What have I got? A little bit of Sabbath. Off the soundboard, Brescia, Italy, 1973. So this would be the era of Volume 4. Interesting song list. Tomorrow's Dream, Sweet Leaf, War Pigs, Wicked World, Embryo, Children of the Grade, and Paranoid. So looking forward to listening to that one. This is Out of the Lighthouse, the Aladdin's Cave of Bootlegs, and there was a ton of Sabbath stuff, and I didn't know really where to start because there was just so much, and I just set myself a budget because I just could go right over the top. And I wanted to get some Sabbath, and this looked like, on the basis of just doing a little bit of research, this looked like one of the best ones in the Sabbath category. So I will give this a listen and I'll let you know. Black Sabbath, 1983. I have a fascination with this era of the band, the Born Again era. Ian Gillan. This is the touring band where you had Tony Iommi, Ian Gillan, Geezer Butler, and on drums you also had Bev Bevan and Jeff Nichols, of course, playing keyboards. And this is in Paris, France in 1983, and also some bonus tracks in Sporthale in Germany. So there's the song list. You can see that. Basically, he does all the stock standard songs like War Pigs, Paranoid. He throws in Smoke on the Water as well, Heaven and Hell. I've heard some mixed reviews about the Sabbath 1983 era, and I've heard some bootlegs here and there. Some are good, some not so good, but I'm not familiar with this one, so I'm looking forward to this. And this is a soundboard recording. So does Rock and Roll Doctor, Iron Man. Yep, looking forward to giving this one a listen. All right, let's go to the 80s and do some Guitar Hero stuff. Van Halen. This is Van Halen, Fort Wayne and Louisville, 1982. It's off the soundboard. So this would have been in the era of Diver Down. It's the show. You probably can't see all the tracks, but it's the full show. Romeo's Delight, Running with the Devil, Jamie's Crying, Where Have All the Good Times Gone, Cathedral Secrets, drum solo, Everybody Wants Some. It's all there, guitar solo. Eddie at Peak Eddie, 1982. That'll be a goodie. And then the Diamond Certificated 1984 Van Halen. Van Halen in San Diego, 1984, The First Night. And this has all the tracks that you would like: Unchained, Hot for Teacher, Running with the Devil. So a mix of the old, and you've got the side two or the later part of the concert, Girl Gone Bad, 1984, Jump, etc., etc. So there you go. Definitive master. We shall see. Randy Rhoads. Ton of stuff of Ozzy and Randy Rhoads. And again, had to be very selective in my budget of what I chose. So let's go in chronological order. Blizzard of Oz, 1980. The full concert in Hammersmith. So this is the classic band of Randy Rhoads, Lee Kerslake on drums, Bob Daisley on bass, and the great late Ozzy Osbourne on vocals. So I don't know, you looking at me, looking at you, Crazy Train, Goodbye to Romance, No Bone Movies, Mr. Crowley, Suicide Solution, guitar solo, drum solo, Revelation. It's all there. On keyboards was Lindsay Bridgewater. So again, I'm seeing on a lot of these bootlegs the Zodiac label. So That seems to be a pretty popular label out of Japan. Now, what came as part of the package out of Lighthouse and attached to this was this little beauty. Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz working tracks. Man, oh man, heard so much about this. There's been a fever of Ozzy fans saying after his passing, release them. We want to hear more Randy. We want to hear some of the working tracks. I don't know. Crazy Train, Goodbye to Romance, Suicide Solution, No Bone Movies. There you go. Haven't heard it yet. Working tracks, different interpretations of songs, work in progress, guitar solos. This is excellent. I'm so looking forward to that. So what a package. That was well worth buying. Just to give you an example, most of these bootlegs were 2,500 yen to 30 yen. And that's equivalent to 25 to 30 Aussie dollars. So that's on par with a CD in Australia, but being exotic and being bootlegs, wow. Ozzy, another one with Randy, Kalamazoo, 1982. This one's got a different lineup. It's got Rudy Sarzo, Tommy Aldridge on drums, and Don Airey on keyboards. And that's more or less the tribute song list, the tribute album that came out in '86, the Ozzy Osbourne. So if you like that, it's more or less the same, warts and all, I would imagine. And the last one was Minnesota with Randy Rhoads. And that's got a little bit of a kind of an obi strip, Japanese handwriting. And there we have it. That is Ozzy Osbourne. Let's do Kiss. Now, before I went shopping in Tokyo and before I got on the jet plane, I set myself a list of artists that I'd really like to buy some stuff. So Whitesnake, Deep Purple Rainbow, Deep Purple Family, Ozzy Osbourne, Van Halen. I sort of wanted to narrow and focus on particular groups. And one of them was Kiss. And for some particular reason, I wanted to buy some CDs or music around that rock and roll over period, 1976. I got this, Rock and Roll Over Sessions. So these are demos. They're rock and roll over sessions, the songs, early takes, Eddie Kramer reel, Take Me, Baby Driver, See You in My Dreams. And then right below, Gene Simmons demos with Alex and Eddie Van Halen, April 1977. Christine 16, Tunnel of Love, Have Love with Travel. Wow. Don't know what it's going to sound like. And that's in the inside. Nicely packaged rock and roll over sessions. And just to be a little bit of a completist for rock and roll, I picked up the album. Beautiful obi strip, thick cover. Open it up. Everything's wrapped in plastic. It's a Japan thing. Everything in plastic. Beautiful, thick cardboard layout. Nice pictures. I played it. It was rated excellent, if you know the vinyl grading. It's got a few little pops. It sounds great. Sounds good. Deep grooves. no complaints. I'm glad. Getting a Japanese version. I always had this on CD. I wanted a vinyl copy, so there it is. It's complete. Kiss, Alive, Philadelphia, 1975. So that's in that Alive period. I wanted to get a live recording of Kiss because I wanted to actually sound, get a version of Kiss that is actually 100% unedited, no studio trickery, alive. It's the back of the cover. All the hits are there. Strutter, Got to Choose, Hotter Than Hell, etc., etc., etc. Nice inserts inside. I mean, all of these bootlegs are just so professional, nicely packaged. It looks like the real deal. So, looking forward to that. Just to round out the CDs on a different genre, German thrash band from the 80s, Destruction. Always wanted to get a copy on CD, Infernal Overkill, and also Sentence of Death with the Great Bestial Invasion. So if you love old school thrash metal, absolutely killer. All right, just to cover off a couple more things in vinyl. The Damned, neat. This came out in Record Store Day a couple of years ago. This is a live recording in 1994, and it also includes a B-side of I'll Walk the Line and You've Lost That Loving Feeling. The Damned are prone to pulling out some pretty, left field cover choices, and I thought, look, I've got to get that. So, as I said, that was a Record Store Day release, only 200 copies made, and I'm looking forward to listening to that. Fastway, Fast Eddie Clark's band, nice Japanese pressing. This was a little bit of a minor hit in America. Easy Living, Feel Me, Touch Me, Another Day, Heft. David King on vocals. Could have been a contender. But, again, I've got that on CD, but I just saw this and it just looks like a nice copy. So that's Fastway. A band called Dirty Tricks. Now, I don't know anything about this. Hit and Run, released in 1977. The reason why I got this is because it is produced by Tony Visconti. So I've just done the rationale that anything he puts his name behind twiddling the mixing desk must be pretty fair quality. So I'll let you know what that is. But yeah, I've never heard of this band, Dirty Tricks, Hit and Run. They look kind of glammy, came out in 1977, so it'd be interesting to check that out. Maybe my viewers can tell me, do you know this band? Detente, Recognize No Authority. You might recall the show I did with John Clauser a couple of years ago on this album. Did a in-depth review of the album. I really dig it. It's kind of a groundbreaking album because the vocalist was the late great Dawn Crosby, and one of the rare female vocalists in heavy metal or thrash metal genre. So, bit of a trailblazer. This is a really great album. It's politically charged. It's ferocious. It hits you between the eyes. And really, in Australia, I haven't seen a copy in the wild, and I saw it secondhand in Japan. So looking forward to listening to that, Detente. I should have added this in the KISS classification, Asylum. I've got this on CD, but nice, thick pressing from Japan. Looking forward to listening to that. And Uriah Heep, Abominog. Beautiful Obi strip. And this is the groundbreaking, more or less the resurrection of Uriah Heep with Pete Golby, Mick Box, John Sinclair, Bob Daisley, and Lee Kerslake. And I went a bit of genre hopping. Japan, David Sylvian, one of their early albums. Remember, if there wasn't Japan, there'd be no Duran Duran. Went into the jazz floor at Disc Union. Wayne Shorter, Supernova. This is an original Blue Note pressing, so that will be pristine sound. Something to look forward to. And then finished up in the funk and dance floor of Disc Union, which was floor 4 or floor 5. So many floors, forgotten. The Tramps, Disco Inferno, and there they are in their flares and their kimono type outfits. And Disco Inferno goes on side 2 for 10 minutes and 54. So bit of an epic number. And finishing up with Tina Marie. She's a bit of a soul genre hopping funk singer from the late 70s, early 80s. And looking forward to listening to that. So finishing on a little bit of a different genre. So there you have it. A very fruitful trip in Tokyo. Over time, I'll listen to these recordings, let you know the good, the bad, indifferent. I might do a follow-up episode and just confirm the reality of these bootlegs. Do they actually sound good? Are they soundboard recording, or is it false misrepresentation? But at the moment, I'm pretty giddy that I bought these and out of the Aladdin's cave of at Lighthouse. So check out the video on Rock Daydream Nation for the individual venues. Did a special trip to the Budokan, which was a bit of a holy pilgrimage for a rock fan like me, and some other stuff. It only goes to less than 7 minutes. Just whiz through it. It's a great clip. Please like and subscribe to Rock Daydream Nation. Put your comments in. Tell me what you think of these picks, recommendations. If you know something, type it in. But one thing's for sure, I'll be doing more shows in 2025. All the best and cheers.